India's very own homegrown fighter jet, the HAL Tejas. It's a huge deal, a real symbol of the country's push for self-reliance and defense. But recently that symbol faced a pretty major test. So let's get right into it. The story of a crash, what it all means, and what's going to happen next. So picture this. It all started as a completely normal day for the Indian Air Force. A Tejas fighter takes off for what's just a scheduled, totally routine training flight. Everything, and I mean everything, was going exactly according to plan. But then, just like that, the mission took a dramatic and, well, really unexpected turn. People on the ground said they heard this loud noise, and then they saw the plane coming down and coming down fast. The routine flight was over. It had ended in a crash. Okay, before we go any further, I want to show you the most important number in this whole story: 0. In a country as densely populated as India, this jet came down in an open area. That means 0 civilian casualties on the ground. It's an absolutely crucial detail in a story that could have been so much worse. Right. So, with the situation on the ground, thankfully contained, the next big question on everyone's mind was, what about the pilot? The person in the cockpit? Let's take a look at how they fared. And here's the good news. The pilot ejected safely. This is all thanks to the plane's advanced 0-0 ejection seat, which is just an incredible piece of tech designed to work even at 0 altitude and 0 speed. Amazing stuff. The pilot is reportedly stable and recovering, and as you'd expect, a full high-level inquiry is already underway to figure out exactly what happened. An incident like this really puts a spotlight on the aircraft itself. So what exactly is the HAL Tejas? And why is it so incredibly important for India? Okay, so the Tejas is what's known as a 4+ generation lightweight multi-role fighter. It was developed right there in India by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. You'll hear them called HAL. And it's really designed to be a versatile workhorse for the Indian Air Force, able to handle everything from air-to-air dogfights to ground attack missions. And make no mistake, this is a seriously modern piece of military hardware. It's built with these lightweight composite materials, which is super important. It has a sophisticated fly-by-wire control system that makes it incredibly agile, and it's packed with a modern radar and all the latest avionics, which means it can use a whole range of precision weapons. But here's the thing. The Tejas is so much more than just a collection of cool parts. It's really the cornerstone of the Make in India initiative when it comes to defense. And the most crucial point here is that it's designed to replace the country's old, aging fleets of MiG-21 fighters. That's a huge step towards strategic independence. So when you have a high-tech, strategically vital aircraft down, the absolute #1 priority is finding out why. So how do investigators even begin to tackle a question that big? Let's break it down. This is the big question, right? It's at the very heart of the official inquiry. I mean, these high-performance jets are unbelievably complex machines, and a failure could come from so many different places. Now, of course, the official cause hasn't been determined yet, but experts are looking at a few potential scenarios. It could be anything from a technical glitch, maybe with the engine or the flight controls, to something totally external, like a bird strike, which is a massive hazard for single-engine jets. Things like human factors or weather seem less likely from the initial reports, but you can't rule anything out just yet. So the Indian Air Force has what's called a court of inquiry, and it's a very methodical, step-by-step process. Think of it like a massive forensic investigation. They'll analyze the black box flight data recorder, they'll meticulously examine every single piece of debris, they'll pore over the jet's entire maintenance history, and they'll interview everybody involved. It's incredibly thorough. So what does one crash really mean for the entire Tejas program and for India's bigger defense ambitions? Is this some kind of major derailment, or is it something else? Well, in the short term, you can probably expect a temporary pause in training flights, maybe some technical audits across the whole fleet. But in the long term, this incident could actually end up strengthening the program. The investigation might lead to system upgrades, better simulation training for pilots, and even tighter coordination on maintenance. And the official response from the Ministry of Defense and the Air Force has been pretty clear. They've assured everyone that there will be a fully transparent investigation, and they've totally reaffirmed their commitment to the program. The message is clear: safety is #1, but so is the momentum of building up their own homegrown defense industry. Now, to really understand what's happening here, we need to zoom out. How does this one singular incident fit into the bigger global picture of military aviation? Is this normal? Well, Here's some perspective for you. This was the very first crash in the Tejas' entire service history. Meanwhile, other top-tier fighters from around the world, we're talking the American F-16 and F-35, the French Rafale, they've all had multiple crashes over their lifetimes. The reality is, when you operate high-performance aircraft in extreme environments, there are just inherent risks. And that brings us to a really crucial point, one that aviation analysts are always highlighting. A crash doesn't automatically mean there's some fundamental flaw in the plane's design. Actually, more often than not, these terrible events become major learning opportunities that lead directly to better safety rules and technical upgrades for the entire fleet. And that leaves us with this final thought to chew on. For any country that's trying to develop its own advanced military technology, incidents like this are, frankly, almost inevitable. So the real question isn't whether they will happen, but how they're handled. Is this just a failure? Or is it a painful but maybe necessary part of the long and complicated journey toward true self-reliance?